Good afternoon, everyone. It is 12:30, and that can only mean one thing. It's time for not the evening news. Let's get a applause there. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the applause. I know. Thanks. I don't know if I deserve it. You know, does anyone really deserve anything? But there you go. Okay, right, so we shall jump straight into the news. Do you know what? I'm actually a little bit hyped right now. You know, I'm a bit hyper. I've just been for my other channel. I've just been playing a game called The Pirates for my VR channel, and it is superb. It's absolutely perfect. It is a great game. I'm so impressed with it, and I just fallen in love with it. Basically, it's fantastic. But that's not what you want to hear about here, though, is it? You want to hear about news. So I'm just loading up a couple of news stories ready from the old WhatsApp chat that I house my news stories in. Okay, so we have The Buck You Will on X, who has said, have you ever wondered what kind of sound a cast iron pan makes when it strikes a member of Antifa across the head? Do you know what? I have wondered what sound a cast iron pan makes when it strikes a member of Antifa across the head. So let's find out together. Let's pause this music for a moment. 1 second, and then let's jump onto X and let's find out what it sounds like. Let's turn the sound on that. There it is. Let's hear that again. So that's what a cast iron pan sounds like. That was a beautiful noise. Yeah, well done to that guy for hitting Antifa around the head with a cast iron pan. That is a video on X going around right now, and it's posted by The Buck You Will, and there's just a load of people fighting. Presumably this is lefties because they're all wearing pink and keffiyehs or whatever they're called, and they are just fighting each other. Well done to them. And then somebody gets hit around the head with a cast iron pan. So that is what that sounds like. I'm genuinely so happy that I know that in my life right now. That's in my noggin forever. I will always know what it sounds like. Okay, we have Lauren Witzke, spelled Witzke. And this is on X, and she has posted that time when over 1,000 women were raped by Africans in a single night in Germany. Africans ran through the streets on New Year's Eve, pulled women under bridges and next to cars and raped them. Diversity is a death sentence to Western countries. Yeah, so I don't know if anyone else ever saw it, but there was a documentary on YouTube. This is several years ago now that I watched it. I presume it's still on there, but it's called The Night That Changed Germany. And what it's about is a load of lefties that go to the German border, and when just noticed I've forgotten to plug my other phone in, so that's good for the recording. Absolutely fantastic. I am not prepared today purely because that game has got me so hyped. So there was a documentary on YouTube called, I believe it was called The Night That Changed Germany, and it was the first time that the immigrants were going to be let in across the border, and they were going to bus all these immigrants in and basically release them in Germany, like Pokemon. And what ended up happening was all these lefties went down there to greet them and say, yeah, you know, you're welcome in our country. We love you. Great. Fantastic. And what happened was all these immigrants got bussed in, and they all left the buses, they started getting handed clothes and food and other things from these lefties, right? And then what happened is one of the immigrants got into a factory that was housing a load of fireworks and things like that, and they broke into this factory. They've literally just got into Germany, been handed clothes, food. They then go off, break into a factory, get a load of fireworks, and take them back outside and start firing them at the lefties that have just given them some free shit. And after that, it just erupted into chaos, because obviously no one knew what was going on. No one had knew that these immigrants had gotten into this factory. All anyone knew is just fireworks were just everywhere around them. And it turned out that night that something like 26 women got raped. I think there was a couple of deaths or something. And back then they thought that was it. That was going to be the night that changed Germany. Everyone would just say, well, Jesus Christ, we've let them in, we've given them clothes, we've given them food, they can fuck off again, basically. But it didn't happen. The lefties carried on, even though their own got raped, even though their own got killed, at this big kind of, welcoming party for the immigrants. And that was the first night that immigrants started going into Germany. Like I said, I don't know if it's still on YouTube. I'm sure it was called The Night That Changed Germany. But it didn't. The lefties carried on. They accepted it and just said, yeah, okay, got to crack a few eggs to let the illegal invaders in. And there you go. We have Dr. P. Gender dysphoria is made up nonsense on X. That's his full YouTube X account name. Dr. P. Gender dysphoria is a made up nonsense at PsychGirl211. Right. And she has said, Dear X, I need your help. As you may know, I was doxxed by Fred Wallace, who posted my name and picture on partial home address here on X. I made a complaint to Metropolitan Police, bet they did nothing, today, and was called back by one of their officers, so we have PC/Officer Humphreys, badge number 2417 of the Metropolitan Police, based in Lewisham Station. Officer Humphreys asked me what I'd given rise to the doxing and told him that that's irrelevant. Why is he asking that? Why is he asking why this person's been doxed? It's irrelevant. Doxing itself is illegal, so the reason behind the doxing is irrelevant in any sense. Okay, but anyway, let's carry on. Told him the position that men cannot become. I told him that I hold the position that men cannot become women. He immediately, without taking breath, said, "Well, that's transphobic." Officer Humphreys then proceeded to harangue me about my transphobia and homophobia. So he's a good copper, isn't he? He doesn't have an agenda at all that he wants to push and force on other people. I told him that I was not confident in the way he responded, and that I would be reporting him to his superiors. Like you should. Well done, good girl. He said, well, you won't get anywhere. Yeah, that's their mentality. That is a lefty copper. Unfortunately, they have captured every industry, every organisation, everything in Britain. And that's why nothing works. That's why no crimes are being solved. That's why crime is rampant everywhere. That's why the hospitals aren't where. That's why everything's shit, because it's just filled to the brim with lefties who, unless you want to talk about gender ideology, they just don't want to know, and they have no idea how to do their job. No idea, however. Anyway, let's get back into it. So he said you won't get anywhere. I then tried to explain to them that being transphobic is not a crime and that gender critical beliefs are protected under the Forstater ruling. True. Freedom of speech, for example. You can say that. Unless you attack anyone for being transgender, there's no crime there. There's nothing to look into. You can say that. Yeah? I can call my brother a puff. I can call him a gimp. I could call him a spastic. I can call him a retard. That's not a crime. I can do that to anyone out on the street as well. They may not like it, and they may say you're disturbing the peace or something like that. I don't know, but it's free speech. I can say it. I also told him about Supreme Court ruling that sex in law means biology and not identity. At this point in the conversation, PC Humphreys put the phone down on me. He just hung up on her. It's a great police officer you've got there. Where was it? That's a great Lewisham police station. That's a great officer you've got there. He's not indoctrinated to the highest point at all, is he? Okay, so PC Humphreys seemed to have no understanding of his responsibility to act as an impartial public servant. Yes, that's what you are, an impartial public servant. If you're in the police force, if you're on the NHS, any sector, that's your job. You have to have an impartial opinion, and just unless somebody's breaking the law, there's nothing you can do. You wouldn't go into a hospital, would you, if you didn't like somebody and say, I'm not going to treat you, I'm not going to look after you because I don't believe with your ideology. It's insanity, absolute insanity. I've actually had an instance of this myself when I was on probation. Every week I'd get passed on to a different probation officer because they'd get fed up of me. They would just they were all lefties and I couldn't tolerate that, so I'd just take the piss out of them. And every week I'd have a session cancelled, and then the following week they'd say, oh well, I've moved on, or I've left, or I've whatever, make an excuse, and then pass me on to another probation worker. Complete waste of time, by the way. Probation is an absolute joke. It's a waste of time. It serves no purpose whatsoever, other than just to annoy somebody. Maybe they've got all these lefties in the industry because they're hoping that with probation you'll go there to these meetings, and I don't know, they'll be able to force that ideology onto you. It did not work with me, and they got frustrated, and they just stopped bothering. They just stopped calling me back for my probation and everything, and just didn't bother. I didn't care. Whatever. I was just laughing. Fuck them. So we have Apple are officially lefty phones, and the reason for this is Apple News continued its defiant stance against pardon me, against offering news from right-leaning outlets through the end of January 2026. Obviously, this is all through 2025. Apple News stubbornly refrained from using any right-leaning outlets in the top 20 articles of its morning editors between January 1st and January 31st of 2026. Of the 620 top stories featured by the news app in the first month of the year, not a single one was from a right-leaning media outlet. So there you go. Again, this is why you need X and apps such as that, because even your phones are working against you. They're trying to conceal truth from you and go with a lefty ideology. So I expect of those 620 stories that Apple put out on their news channel, I'd imagine quite a few of them are just nonsense little fluff pieces about, I don't know, a transgender lad that really wanted to be a girl. You know, who gives a fuck? And in the place that should have been an actual event, an actual story, they'll put that fluff piece. It's absolutely disgusting. And again, it's all these organisations work together to conceal truth from you, to just give you nonsense pieces of news and information that no one really gives a shit about, rather than you finding out about actual news that's going on around you in your country, around the world. You know, absolutely disgusting it is. We have Britain is broken, who has said on X, usual suspect cause chaos at Furvale Academy. Footage from inside the school in Sheffield shows huge crowds of students causing utter damage and carnage in school brawl that left students, teachers hospitalised. Police have been patrolling around the school ever since due to community tensions. Right. Okay, so I'm going to say immigrant kids. Immigrant kids are not happy. They don't want to learn. They just want to be little shits. And rather than just dropping out of school, rather than their parents just being responsible and having a word with them and saying, look, you've got to go to school, got to get a decent education, you've got to integrate with Britain because we're here. No, rather than that, they would rather just let their kids go and ruin everyone else's education. Fantastic stuff. And that's not to mention all the dead bodies that have been turning up in schools as well, and the invaders that randomly just walk into schools as well with a gun, with a knife, with anything. And that's not to mention as well the invaders that have been building little tents, little huts to look into school fields and stuff. All that is true, by the way. That's all factual. It's all been happening. Absolutely disgusting. So it then developed outside of the school as well, because concerned parents turned up to the school, massive police presence, and the roads outside the schools were all blocked afterwards after fights broke out, and left teachers injured and hospitalised. There's another video from Gucci Reports that says the video that he shared shows crowds of parents and police cars at Fair Valley Academy. Head blames community tensions spilling over. So community tensions, once again, they've obviously been told to say that. So that's two teachers now that have been interviewed and two teachers that have said community tensions. Yeah, okay, we know what that means. We have Basil the Great, who has posted on X to say, I'm pleased to say that when it was revealed that the RNLI were ferrying illegals into the country, their donations dropped off a cliff. However, the government are paying them now instead. The government funding of charities needs to stop. Yeah, so the RNLI, they used to be great. They used to be like the police. They used to serve a purpose. They used to actually do something worthwhile, and that was necessary in Britain. They used to protect people on British shores, beaches, etc., etc. Now, all they are is a taxi service for illegals. When people found out about this, donations just plummeted. That's it. No one wanted to sponsor them. No one wanted to make donations to them anymore, because no one, again, why are you paying for more illegal immigrants, more invaders to come into this country? So people thought, okay, well, if they don't get any funding, they're not going to be able to ferry these people into the country anymore. Easy solution, fair enough. So people stop donating. But once again, the government steps in and says, if people don't want this and aren't going to fund it, then the government will use the taxpayers' money to fund it instead. Because, I don't know, the government just seems to want invaders here, don't they? So they're going to find it themselves, using your money, obviously, as always. The government doesn't have any money. They have your money. They have taxpayers' money. Okay, this is insane. UK, this is from Defiant Els on X. This is insane. UK companies are reportedly telling their employees to sign up for digital ID if they want to come into work. No, absolutely not. You can't be forced to do that. And if they say you have to have a digital ID to turn up for work, all right, see you later. Do it as a company. Do it with all your other employee mates. Just say, absolutely not. Walk out. Their business is closed for the day. That's it. They have no business at that point. Okay? If they have no workers, they have no business. All the office staff can go in. They don't really do anything, do they? They don't actually do anything manual. So fuck them. If a single person signs up for digital ID, you are a fucking moron. You really are. You're basically signing away every piece of data you have to be stored on one server, and that one server has already been hacked. There's a company at the moment, I believe it's called Tuggy, something like that. Yoti. I think it's Yoti. And that has been hacked several times that I know of, and that is the app that they're going to be using, because it already has a database of different people's identities, blah blah blah. They're going to be teaming up with them, the government and Yoti, I think it's called. They're going to be teaming up together. They're gonna take away everything from you, all your freedoms. Sync that with your car as well, and if you miss a payment, your car just won't stop in the morning. Brilliant. Won't start in the morning, sorry. Absolutely amazing. Can't speak today, I don't know what's going on. But there you go. What can you do? Okay, we have a school war warning in Sutton Coldfield. School warns parents of messages shared on social media encouraging pupils to head to town centre and start trouble. So again, the mentality of the youth of today, rather than going to school and getting an education, or even just going to school and just keeping your head down, instead what they'd rather do is go into town and just cause problems. Again, this is in Birmingham. This is from Birmingham Live. So I pretty much guarantee what the demographic of those pupils will be. We all know what Birmingham's like. Shithole. So we have Basil the Great news. The man who posted a screenshot of Charlie Kirk's murder with an edit of Rupert Lowe's face on has been arrested. Right, now a lot of people are online right now saying good, so fuck around and find out, and all these different kind of things. Right, so that is not a good thing. I just want to point that out. That is not a good thing. Regardless of whose side you're on, left or right, somebody getting arrested for doing something like that, just a little bit of photo editing, it's not a good thing that they get arrested, because it stops your freedom of speech. You may sit there and go, yeah, brilliant, he's been arrested, and this time it's somebody else getting arrested, but tomorrow it's you getting arrested for your point of view. So just be aware of that before you go cheering on other people getting arrested for simple things like something they've said, something they've shared. Just be aware, it well may be you next that gets arrested for something you share, something you say. Pardon me. I've got a particularly dry mouth today because I've just come off of VR, and obviously I've been talking on that video as well. So I've been talking now for like coming on 2 hours, 3 hours nearly. Right, so we have Grifty in X, who has said this is horrific. Illegal migrant mum and partner batter 3-month-old baby boy to death in London flat. 32-year-old Moroccan overstayer, amazing, Dornia Chetalut, and 44-year-old Algerian partner Abdelkader Assid savagely beat Tiny Adam Assid, causing unsurvivable injuries and cardiac arrest on January 30th in North Finchley. The mother casually cancelled his health visitor appointment that morning, claiming she hadn't slept well before the horror. Wow. That's disgusting. But it happens in Britain now. Again, I don't want to sort of point fingers, but they're foreign. They're always foreign. It's a foreign thing that we've inherited, that we've brought in to our country, and now it's on our doorstep, on your doorstep. It's absolutely disgusting. and I'm fed up with it. But I have no other option than to just laugh at it and just fuck it off. That's all you can do, really. Ian Huntley attacks suspect named as Midland triple killer Anthony Russell. So this is regarding Ian Huntley, who has Okay. Ian Huntley has been attacked in prison, and from what I read last night, there is a 5% chance of his survival at this point. Now, I don't give a shit about Ian Huntley. He's a piece of shit. He really is. And if he dies, he dies. I genuinely don't care. And this other person that's attacked him, personally, I think he should just be let off. It happens. You're in prison. Fucking hell. Absolutely disgusting. Ian Huntley, I know obviously, again, you shouldn't wish death upon anyone, and again, today it's a terrible person, tomorrow it's a nice person that gets attacked, but no, in this case, Ian Huntley, fuck him. He's just a disgusting human being. And if you don't know, Ian Huntley killed 2 little girls back in the very early 2000s. I believe it was. Look him up, Ian Huntley. Disgusting person. James Harvey has posted on X to say this man got more votes than Advance UK in Gorton and Denton. Sir Oinkalot from the official Monster Raving Loony Party. And he's dressed up as a pig in a suit. In case you don't know, again, if you're not from England, we have for many years now had a official political party called the Monster Raving Loony Party, and it is just a piss take, really. I think the main MP for the Monster Raving Loony Party is Captain Binhead, and it's a guy that's put a bin on his head and then cut a little smiley face out of it. They just make jokes and stuff, and it's fun. Why not? But anyway, the guy for Gorton and Denton, Sir Oinkalot, he has gotten more votes than Advance UK, which is a serious party. If that is not a slap in the face and just a big ass reason to just shut your party down and move on to another, I don't know what is. I genuinely don't. Just absolutely amazing. But there you go. I don't think Ben Habib will do that though. At the moment, I think he and Rupert Lowe have had a little bit of a hissy fit, a little bit of a tiv, between the two. But I'm sure they'll work that out and join forces soon enough, or at least I hope they do. Anyway, we have Winston Churchill's statue in Parliament Square vandalised by pro-Palestine protester, and this again, it was a foreigner. It was a foreign guy that wrote on Winston Churchill's statue. Never again is now globalised the Intifada and greetings from Hague in Dutch. So it's a Dutch guy that again we've imported into Britain, and that this is how they sort of repay you. They vandalise your statues of famous people from your past. Absolutely disgusting. And this is the one that gets me, the globalised the Intifada. Do you know what the Intifada is? I wonder if that guy actually knows what the Intifada is. Again, absolutely disgusting. He, in my opinion, is just a useful idiot. That is all he is. That is likely all he'll ever be. And one day he'll wake up and realise what a moron he's been all these years. Genuinely. Again, it's happening so frequently now. You're getting so many lefties that are moving to the right because they're realising the hypocrisy of the lefties. They're realising the hypocrisy of everything they've been saying. And it can be funny. I mean, you have to laugh at it, but at the same time, it's just, we've been telling them this stuff for years. They don't listen, and then after a while, they hopefully learn for themselves if they let a little bit of knowledge in, and turn to the right as you do. Basil the Great has posted on X to say, breaking Talk TV. By the way, this is an older message, so it's not breaking now. It looks like this is from February 26th, so this is 2 days ago. Talk TV takedown post criticising Rupert Lowe's rape gang inquiry after fierce backlash. So Talk TV, who like to advertise themselves as the station of common sense, the program of common sense, and they are obviously pro reform. And they have had some biased presenters and news out on their platform regarding Rupert Lowe. It's been quite biased towards him and in favour of Reform Party. And I see no reason why that would stop. I don't think that's going to stop at all. They seem to favour reform over Restore Britain, even though I think it's going to be, when it comes to the general election in 2029, I think that's going to be a two-horse race between Green Party and Restore Britain, not Reform. I think Restore are going to overtake Reform quite soon, to be honest. It's been, 14 days now, 15 days, I believe, and they're already over 100,000 members. It's literally making history. Amazing. And yes, I myself, I am a member. I have joined them. We have Daily Mail, who have put out a piece saying, this is on X, by the way, the horrific halal slaughter video and troubling question as we reveal 200 million animals a year are killed by having their throats cut while still conscious. How so many are eating it without realizing. Special report by Sue Reed. Again, this is something the right have known about for years. We take it upon ourselves to learn how halal meat, kosher meat is produced, why it's halal meat over ordinary meat. The reason for that is you have to drain all the blood out of it. Not only do you have to drain all the blood out of it, you have to do it while the animal is alive, and rather than giving it any kind of injection or anything like that, pill, or anything like that to numb everything, to knock them out and then drain the blood. No, they don't do anything like that. They literally just bring it into a factory, bring it into a warehouse like that, and the animal's completely conscious. It knows what's happening. It slowly just dies, okay, having had its throat slit. It's absolutely disgusting. Whereas conventional methods, the more humane methods, are you just walk a animal up to a gate. You get a bolster gun, just put it on its temple, on its forehead like that, and just go, and that's it. It's gone. That's it. It's instant. They have no idea what's happening. They have no idea what's about to happen. They don't feel a thing. It's instant. Gone. And to be honest, if it was me, I'd much rather that than slowly bleeding out on the floor. Jesus. We have Active Patriot, who has posted on X to say counter-terrorism police arrest 2 people in raid in Hull. 2 people have been arrested on suspicion of conspiracy to murder by counter-terrorism police. Police officers, an army bomb disposal unit and fire service attended an address in Morpeth Street in Hull on Thursday. Humberside police said a man and a woman, both aged 23, have been taken into custody for questioning. Is there a description? The man was also arrested for possession of a weapon. A police spokesperson said the bomb disposal unit was called in after the discovery of potentially suspicious items at the resident's address. We understand that the local community may have concerns as a result of this activity.
And the spokesperson added, "We would like to reassure them that this arrest is pre-planned and intelligence-led. There's not believed to be any other immediate risk to the local community." Right, so I'm going to throw a guess out here and say Muslim, planning a terrorist attack, and somebody gave them up, or they were just dumb and got caught. Again, this happens a lot more frequently than you can imagine. If you're a lefty and you have no idea about this kind of thing, I genuinely feel sorry for you, because when it does happen one day, when we do get a big terrorist attack in Britain, and you stand there going, "How did this happen? What's happened? Oh my god, oh my god," and all the right-wing people just like, yeah, but we knew it was going to happen. It's inevitable at this point. You know, how Britain has not already had a terrorist attack actually already in 2025, 2026 is beyond my comprehension. I can only assume that MI5, MI6 are absolutely amazing actually, and they are again, yeah, a lot of terrorist attacks get foiled very early on and very frequently in Britain. So yeah, MI5, MI6, they're not like the police, obviously. They actually still serve a purpose. Amazing. But like I said, one of these days, these terrorists are going to get through. There's going to be one of them that gets through. Even if you just go by statistics, you know, even if you said, okay, 1% of every terrorist actually gets through and commits an attack. Okay, so out of, you're saying there 1%, you're saying out of every 100 terrorists, one is actually going to fulfill what they intend to do. Yeah, and I expect that even in 2026 alone, we're probably on about, I don't know, 15, maybe 20 terrorists that have already been arrested for planning to carry out a terrorist attack in Britain. So again, give it another sort of 3 months, 4 months, you're looking at near enough 100%, you know, 100 potential terrorist attacks. And like I said, one of them's bound to get through. We have Grifty. Labour's soft touch on gangs. Fly tipping soars to record 1.26 million incidents. Criminal gangs have turned rural Britain into a rubbish dump. Fly tipping up 10% in 1 year under Starmer to highest ever recorded. Yeah, again, this is one of these things that I've talked about a couple of times actually, because I myself have noticed a drastic increase in fly tipping. And it's another one of those things. Again, this is nothing new. This is nothing out of the ordinary. Since Keir Starmer came into power, he's basically just emboldened all these anyone that wants to do any illegal doings, unless you're right wing. You know, if you're right wing, good God, you're getting the book thrown at you. But if you're a fly tipper, if you're a rapist, if you're a nonce, if you're you know, anything other, if you're a thief, you know, jewelry shops thefts are fucking massively up. Yeah, unless you're right wing, do what you want, seriously, because the government and the police and everyone else, they just don't seem interested in catching anyone for anything else other than spicy tweets. So it doesn't surprise me that fly tipping is surging at the moment. Lorry load dumps are up 11% at 52,000, costing councils £19.3 million. Labour ministers talk, seize the vans, but numbers exploded anyway. Total failure. Yeah, they say seize the vans and then they do nothing. You know, absolute waste of time. Again, this government, it would be, the country would be a better place if they didn't even exist, if Labour didn't even exist, because at least then you haven't got something in front of you, a Labour government in front of you that's weak, that you just know is weak. At least if there's no one there, then you can assume that you have a tough government in place. But because our government is so openly weak now, it's just emboldened anyone that's a criminal to just do as you want, just do as you please. And we all know it. I mean, the invaders know it, we know it. It's just pathetic. But there you go. London and UK streets news. We have a man in his 50s has been found with a knife injuries today. This is February 26th at 2:10 a.m. in Kent House Road. He was rushed to hospital for treatment where he remains in a life-threatening condition. No arrests have been made at this time. A Metropolitan Police spokesperson said police were called to Kent House Road, Upper Sydenham by the London Ambulance Service at 2:10 on Thursday, February 26th, to reports that a man had been found with serious injuries. Officers attended with paramedics and found a man in his 50s with a knife wound. He was taken to hospital where he remains in a life-threatening condition. Detectives have launched an investigation. Good luck with that. That's going to go nowhere. The inquiries continue and no arrests have been made at this stage. I doubt any arrests will be made at any stage, you useless pieces of shit. Basil the Great on X has said 2 teachers taken to hospital after being attacked by students again back in the schools. This is the same one. This is Fairvale Secondary School in Sheffield. Is the latest to benefit from diversity and multiculturalism. It is only 9.1% white British area of the country. Okay, so that's just a little bit of information on that story that I was talking about earlier. Obviously, that was the one that they said, diversity. I can't remember how they worded it. I can't remember, but yeah, you get they say one thing and you read between the lines and you understand it's something else completely. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, that is a school that has 9.1% British population, and the school is just a shithole. It's just a cesspit. Anyone surprised? I very much doubt it. There you go. So we have this is Birmingham Live. We have DJ devastated after being mowed down outside Birmingham nightclub by driver on nitrous oxide. Calliston Callistus, aged 20 out, saw the grill of a Mercedes before it was dragged his body down the road. A Mercedes, right, in Birmingham. Righto. Guess the demographic. That's a fun game. Just scrolling down. Okay, yep. So we have Mohammed Sufi caused catastrophic injuries. Calliston Callistus outside Tunnel Club in the Jewellery Quarter in the early hours, October 4th, 2024. It wasn't just him, though. It wasn't just him. You cannot make this up. Sufi and his friends Arman Abid, Mustafa Gahari and Danielle Hussein had been thrown out of the venue, which was hosting a Freshers Week event for Asian students. See, just absolutely hilarious. So again, Muslims doing just what Muslims do, absolutely hilarious. There you go. Islam Invasion on X has posted another church on fire on Villa Stanza, Italy. This time we know it's a Moroccan Muslim who did it. Yeah, the Muslims, they'll burn down churches all over the show. I believe it's daily in Europe. Yeah, now. And some of these are really historical churches, some very history-rich churches that have been there for 1,000 years, and they're just burnt down because Muslim. That's why. Christianity is disappearing slowly. No, Christianity is making a resurgence. Christianity is massively on the rise. In Britain it is anyway. That does not necessarily mean that Christians are going and protecting their churches, though, from Muslims. Look, I try and say it nicely. I try and sort of, get around it, but you can't. You have to just say, we know it's Muslims. It's the same Muslims, you know. It's the same as the police, you know. That they would rather give no description than having to say it's a Muslim. Amazing. This is GB News saying Spain will be able to prevent Britons from entering Gibraltar as Keir Starmer's EU border deal published. Yes, so Keir Starmer is planning now to give away Gibraltar. Why? God only knows. This Keir Starmer just seems hell-bent on giving away territory from Britain, just because he just doesn't like having international territory at all. And it was always said in the past that the sun never sets on the British Empire, and the reason for that is because we had land, we had territory all over the world. So if you've got territory all over the world, as the earth spins, obviously the sun never sets on British territory because you've got plots of land all over the world. But that's not the case anymore. Obviously, we don't have plots of land all over the world. We're giving away what we do have. So just it is what it is, and why are we doing this? There's no real reason for it at all. It's just an absolute waste of time. It just reduces the British Empire to what, eventually nothing. Is that where we're going? Personally, I think we are, but again, we'll have to wait and find out. We'll have to wait and see. Sainsbury's announces, this is GB News, Sainsbury's announces 300 jobs at risk under restructuring plan. This is hardly surprising. Again, you have a lot of companies in Britain now with the extra taxes that Rachel Reeves has added, and Keir Starmer and the Labour government that they've added, that are just going out of business. That are just saying, it's not worth it really anymore. We'll just massively reduce our company size, or just get rid of it altogether. Fuck it, why not? I don't blame them. I genuinely don't. If I had a company in Britain still, because I've had a couple of companies, I would be shutting them down. Yeah. Why would I want to make any money for Britain? Fuck this country. So, Active Patriot has posted new 100,000 people claimed asylum in the UK last year. The next bomber, next rapist, next jihadist is now living in your neighbourhood, courtesy of the sick bastards in power. So what this is all about is he's made a video. He's actually visited a port, by the looks of it, where invaders are being put on buses and just being bussed out to different areas. So literally, as he's standing there with all these invaders getting on the buses to be bussed across Britain to wherever they're going to be located, there's every chance in that video there's a jihadist, there's a rapist, there's a bomber, there's a terrorist. There's every chance that one of those people is falls into those categories. Absolutely. And that's where we're at. It's what you expect when you have a country that has no borders, and Britain has no borders anymore. Well done, Zach Polanski, as well, for saying that he wants the country to have no borders. At least you're honest about it, rather than Keir Starmer, who just sort of makes up these stupid policies, one in, one out, ridiculous. It was never going to work, never ever going to work. But they still just make up these stupid policies to try and keep dumb people happy. And I don't know. I don't know if it works or not. I genuinely don't. I don't know if the dumbasses out there are still thinking, this one in, one out scheme is doing great. I don't know who's thinking that. If there is anyone thinking that, please DM me so I can call you a fucking retard. Gabon on X has said hemp in South Africa's rape epidemic townships. He sits down with the men and asks straight up. Oh, this is Martin Kemp. Martin Kemp. Okay, yeah, okay. So it's not a town called Kemp in South Africa. It's Martin Kemp in South Africa's rape epidemic townships. So Martin Kemp sits down with men and asks straight up, how do you feel about rape? What about the girl? Their answers ranged from, she might scream and wake people up. Righto, that's a problem. We could catch a virus. Don't want that happening. She might get pregnant. Oh dear. That's it. Zero compensation for her fear, pain, trauma, or consent. They literally couldn't fathom why the victim's feelings even matter. So no empathy, no respect, no nothing when it comes to women from these what can only be described as gentlemen. Yeah, amazing. This is the reality of a totally different culture, and we're importing it by the hundreds of thousands. Cultural incompatibility isn't optional. Yeah, so all those guys that Martin Kemp interviewed, I believe this is a few years old now, a couple of years old. So all those guys that Martin Kemp interviewed that rape women and just have no empathy or even understanding of the women's side of that rape, likely they're all in England now. And on that note, I'll leave the episode there. It's one of those things where I think that's probably a good point to end on and just make you think, shit, yeah, all those documentaries that you watched years ago where you sat there and said, oh my God, this is disgusting, this is horrific, this is terrible. All those people that you were watching from foreign lands that did horrific things to women and children in their own countries, just keep in mind they're probably here now, they're probably in Britain now. So that's the situation we've gotten ourselves into in Britain. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Try and enjoy the rest of your day. I hope that hasn't bummed you out too much, but go and have a pint. That's what I'm going to do. Cheers all.